for TYC Live. I just got a few announcements for you before we get started tonight. We are 3 weeks into our study in the book of Ephesians, and you can find that playlist right here on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you follow along with those. A new episode is released every weekend so that you can go onto our YouTube channel and check out that page. Can't hear me? I'm going to move my mic closer to myself. Is that better? So our Ephesians study, we're 3 weeks into it. We are working through the book of Ephesians, and we will take another 3 weeks to finish the other 3 chapters in the book of Ephesians. So make sure that you follow along each week for that. Also, something brand new that we've got for you is on our website, calvarylansdale.org/teens. And actually, it's not teens resources, it is teens/online. Teens/online. And we've got resources for you, Bible study plans that are on the YouVersion app. They're really applicable for what's going on in all of our lives right now. So make sure that you go check out that page, calvarylansdale.org/teens/online, not on resources. One more thing tonight, as far as an announcement goes, is that we've got a prize again this week, and we're going to be giving away some food. And the way that we're going to be doing that is that you are going to type into the chat !CT eats, CTEATS, !CTEATS. What? Is that better? That's better. I think my camera audio is on. !CT eats. In the chat, it will enter you for a chance to win a food prize this week. So put that in the chat. Julie's gonna share it as well. Hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better now. I think my other microphone is on.
Can you repeat what you said, because we didn't hear much?
Okay, so we're going to be giving away some food this week, and in order to get into a drawing to win that, you should type in !CT eats, CT eats, EATS, so that you'll be entered into a chance to win our food prize for this week. All right, are we good now? We said we're getting okay. We're better. Awesome. So again, guys, so glad that you're with us tonight. We're going to be starting off with actually a brand new segment this week that is called Head to Head. And how this is going to work is that one or more of you will go head to head with me in a challenge each week. And so this week we've got a mini donut stacking challenge. And my challenger tonight is Nick Bruno. And we're going to see who can stack the most mini donuts in 45 seconds. Okay, so we're going to bring Nick in here in just a second. And Nick is going to join us. I hope you can see Nick behind me. Nick's going to join us, and we're going to see which one of us can stack mini donuts, the most mini donuts in a tower in 45 seconds. In 45 seconds. I'm going to hold the plate up here for you guys like this so you can see me.
They said they still can't hear.
They still can't hear anything?
You can come listen. It sounds really funky.
Let me try something here. I'm reading all good from my end.
Some sort of warp.
Oh.
Your voice sounds really weird.
I got it, guys. I got it. So I'm using a digital interface to plug my microphone in, and I'm supposed to be plugged into interface 1, and I was plugged into interface 2. So hopefully that should fix the problem. There we go. That was my bad on the rush. So it looks better on my screen now, so that you can hear me a little bit better. So I think we're going to go ahead with this.
I need to just zoom the camera out so you can see.
No, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it up. So they can see. They're good.
Oh.
They can see behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can see good. Yeah, his face is actually not in the picture. He chose not to record his face. All right. So, babe, if you wanna, I'm gonna get my timer out for 45 seconds. I've got my timer. If you can hit play when I tell you to go, we are gonna go with 45 seconds on the clock.
Where's play?
At the bottom.
There's a pause up here.
Go to this presenter.
This?
Yeah. Nope. Go to this.
This?
No, this.
Do I just click on it? Okay, there's the play button.
Okay. All right, here we go. We are going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Is he going in the background?
Okay, go.
He's not going up there, though.
Well, he's going on the computer on down here.
Well, all right, we need to fix that. All right, for some reason that's not, he's not playing on the screen there. He should be in just a minute. Okay. All right. So we're gonna see if Julie can get that. I know how many Nick got. So I'm gonna try to do this in 45 seconds. Nick got 4. Okay, while we try and get his video up, and I'm gonna try and beat 4. Alrighty, ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, I got 2. I'm gonna start with the powdered one. Nick started with the powder one. All right, there's 4. All right, there's 5. Oh, now he's going. Here, I'll start over for him. There we go. Now you can see him. He's going. Oh, I'm losing my concentration here. Oh, I got 4. Oh no, 5 is getting wobbly. Oh man, we got just. Oh no. Stay. Ah, no, I lost him. Oh, and that's time. And like Julie predicted, I just got powder all over my computer for the rest of the night. Awesome. Well, Nick, you beat me in our head-to-head challenge tonight. Congratulations. You get to keep those donuts, and you get to keep those donuts and enjoy them. Hopefully you share them with some friends. Hopefully you share them with your family, and that you enjoy those donuts. Yeah, just exit out of that, babe. Sorry. If you guys want to be part of a game like Nick sort of was tonight, make sure you go into the chat and type !games, !games with an S at the end, so that you can have the opportunity to go head-to-head against me in a challenge right here on YouTube. All right, we're going to jump into our next segment tonight, which is our mystery guest segment. Our mystery guest segment, which we've done for a few weeks now, and instead of it being a pastor and an adult, it's actually one of our teens who has decided to join us for our mystery guest this week. Go ahead and watch this video and take a listen now. So, Brett, tell us about yourself. Tell us your name, your grade, and what school you go to.
My name is Brett Adam Ridge. I am going to be a senior next year at Calvary Baptist School.
Very good, very good. All right. What is your favorite part about being in quarantine?
Um, a lot of free time, and I've been going to the mountains a lot and longboarding with my cousins.
Oh, nice, nice, nice staying outside. What's the hardest part about doing school online?
Oh man, probably just not getting to have the teachers teach it to me. I like doing it better in person. I mean, the Zoom helps, but not as better as in person.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely an in-person learner as
Yeah.
well. Um, when was your last haircut? You're looking pretty fresh, but when was
Actually, Jeff Tuttle actually gave it to me about a week and a half ago.
Oh, nice. I think I did see some pictures of that. He was
Yeah,
some
he's a good barber.
Yeah, it looks pretty fresh. There we go. Are you working right now?
Yeah, George Didden's greenhouses.
Okay, very nice. How often like during the day are you working?
Normally 7 in the morning till 12. On
Okay.
days I don't have a lot of homework.
Okay, cool. So not too bad. Pretty good.
Yeah.
What is the first thing that you're gonna do after quarantine?
Probably go to Chick-fil-A.
Probably go to Chick-fil-A. You can go to Chick-fil-A now, but
Yeah, it's the drive. I went there the other day with my cousins. The drive-through was out to the road. It was insane.
I know it was so long, but they get you through pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right, that's our interview with Brett. Alrighty, Brett, thanks for joining us tonight and hanging out. I hope you're having a great time in the mountains if you're watching this right now. I believe hunting with your family, so I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us tonight, Brett. Tonight we are going to jump into our second to last teaching for our Church Matters series. And this week we're going to be talking about another thing that the church does when we gather together in a building together, and one of the things that we do as part of our worship to God, and that's going to be communion. So check out our talk for tonight. Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night for another lesson in our series, Church Matters. We've been talking about in this series that the church is a people and not a place. And we've been talking about what that means as God has called us to live as his followers, the church in this world today. And last week we shifted gears a little bit and we started to talk about what it looks like when the church gathers. And last week we talked about baptism and what that means and why it's so important for followers of Jesus to take that next step and proclaim their faith through baptism. We're going to be talking about another thing that the church does when they gather this week, and that is communion. And now communion simply can be described as fellowship or participation. Fellowship or participation. And we're going to look at how Jesus commanded his followers to observe communion. And he commanded his followers to observe communion starting in the very last night he was with his disciples before he was crucified. Now, the primary purpose of communion was for the disciples to remember what Jesus did for them. Now, our son Ethan is 16 months old, which is really, really crazy. And a couple months ago, when he turned 1, we were kind of compiling all of the pictures that we took when he was 1 year old. So I could only fit 10 months up here, but you can just see, even through looking at these 10 months of pictures, how drastic of a change he has made in growing up. Now, say, for example, you look at this picture from 8. We can look back and we can remember what he looked like and what he could do at 8 months. Or we could go back to 2 months and remember where he couldn't even really sit up on his own and he was just kind of lying around. But now at 10 months and 12 months and 16 months, he's now just running all over the place. And they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And that's very, very true, because a picture can transport us back in time and flood our minds with memories from that time and that place and in those moments. And what it does is that's simply remembering. A picture causes you to remember. It takes you back to that moment, whether it was a family vacation that you took together and you're looking back on those memories and you're remembering all of the things that you experienced and all of the fun you had together in that unique time and in that unique place. And the same is true for communion. Communion is a physical picture reminding us of what God has done for us spiritually. Because baptism does the same thing. It's a physical reminder of a spiritual reality. And Jesus is amazing when he teaches and he does this. He's known for using these physical pictures to illustrate spiritual realities. So the purpose of communion isn't a physical one, but it is a spiritual one. And the Christians in Corinth had this all wrong. They got it all backwards. They were so focused on the physical that they lost sight of the spiritual. But before we get into Corinthians and talking about how they messed up in their communion observance, I want to talk about how and why we do communion. Well, first, we do communion by eating and drinking something because that's how Jesus modeled it for his disciples. Also, we do communion together because, well, you can't fellowship and participate with other people in something unless you are gathering with them. We don't do it in our homes because participation doesn't happen alone. So we observe communion when we gather together as a church. And by gathering together, it helps us focus on what God has done for us and what God has called us to do together as his followers and accomplishing his mission of making more and better disciples of Jesus Christ. So I want to look at 1 Corinthians and see how it describes communion. 1 Corinthians 10:16 says this. It says, the cup of blessing that we bless is it not a participation in the blood of Christ? The bread that we break, is it not a participation in the body of Christ? Paul in Corinthians he's explaining to them it's not an individual thing. It's something that we actively participate in doing together. But communion is not just about remembering and participating. It's also about proclaiming. Look at 1 Corinthians 11:26. It says, for as much as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes again. It is a proclamation. And one of the problems that the Corinthians were having is that they lost sight of remembering and proclaiming. And when they would get together for communion, what would happen is they would eat too much and they would drink too much and they would get out of control. And instead of communion being something that would be for remembering the death of Jesus Christ for us and proclaiming that for everyone to see, instead they turned into wild, drunken parties. And so Paul writes to the Corinthians to help correct this practice. And Paul is going to challenge the Corinthians to look in three directions. He's going to challenge them to look in three directions when they take communion. So the first direction that they should look is that they should look back. That's simply describing what we talked about before with the pictures. Jesus says to his disciples, he says, do this in remembrance of me. Do this in remembrance of me. And I look back at this 3-month picture of Ethan and how he could barely sit up and he's just starting to smile. And now looking at his 1-year-old picture, he's running all over the place. And my mind floods back to the last 16 months of Ethan's life. And it's just amazing to see how he has grown and how he has changed. And these pictures remind me of those times, of those moments. And in communion, we look back on the death of Jesus and what it means for you and for me in providing for us salvation. Now, we can also look back at other areas of our lives and see God's faithfulness. I'm sure that 5 years from now, we're going to look back on this
crisis that we are in together as a world, this pandemic. We're going to look back on it and we're going to see the faithfulness of God and how he has brought us through it and how he has used this situation to advance his kingdom and to strengthen our faith. That's what remembering does. That's what a picture does. And so communion helps us look back. We should look back, but we should also look within. We should also look within. Look at what 1 Corinthians 11:28 says. It says, "Let a person examine himself, and so eat of the bread and drink of the cup." Paul's encouraging the believers to examine themselves, and communion is designed to cause us not just to remember, but to reflect and think about our relationship with God. Is there some sin in your life that you've embraced? Because when you embrace sin, you turn your back on God and what he's done for you. And reminding ourselves of what God has done for us convicts us of sin and pushes us to make change, pushes us to repent and turn from that sin. So when we go to communion, we should examine ourselves to see if there's any sin that we're embracing that's keeping us back from a right relationship with God. Is there a grudge that you're holding against someone? Is there jealousy in your heart? Is there sin that's moved into your life and that you've embraced? Now is the time during communion to reflect on the death of Jesus for your sin, that sin that you're struggling with, and repent and ask Jesus to forgive you. So communion helps us to look back. It helps us to look within, but then we also look ahead. We also look ahead. Look at 1 Corinthians 11:26 again. It says, "For as much as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes." It's helping us focus on when Christ will come again for us. And that's the great news, is that Jesus is returning one day for his people to make all things right. He will come for all of his followers, and we will all eat together with Jesus in his kingdom. And that's an amazing picture of what will happen in our deliverance from the sin of this world. But it's also a reminder for us as believers that we should continue to work and advance the kingdom of God while we are here on this earth by sharing the gospel with anyone that we come in contact with. So, we look back, remembering what Jesus has done for us. We look within and examine our hearts to see if there's any sin that we're holding on to. And then we look ahead, reminding ourselves that we have a mission on this earth to proclaim Jesus until he comes. So communion isn't a party. It is a proclamation. It is a remembrance. And it is a physical reminder of a spiritual reality of what Jesus has done for us. And so communion isn't just something that we watch and observe, but it's something that we participate in as followers of Jesus. And that's why communion is so significant for you and I as followers of Jesus today.
All right, everybody, just a little bit of a different way of doing our teaching time tonight, just to help it be a little more clear and a little more vivid for you to listen to and to hear and get something out of tonight. Hopefully that we're all back in church, the building church, where we can celebrate baptism and communion together and thinking about and remembering what Christ has done for us and proclaiming that for all to hear, which is the mission of all followers of Jesus. So we just got one more segment for tonight, and it's another game. And actually, I'm going to have Julie join me up on my stage here for this game. And the game is called the Best Friend Challenge. And if you haven't seen this before, this is another one of those Jimmy Fallon kind of skit segments. And so how this game works is that one of us is going to draw a question that we've pre-written, and we're going to need to figure out what the other person's answer should be. So we've got some whiteboards to help us out here. So Julie's gonna have a whiteboard. Come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Come
Hi.
on, back up a little bit so you're
Oh.
in good. Don't block my light. Okay.
Sorry.
There we go. All right. This is my good side. Got to show it to the camera.
Oh, well, this is my good side.
Oh, okay. So we just back to back. All right. So we don't want to see.
Okay.
So how about you pick one of mine first? How about you pick one of mine first? Okay. So read the question nice and loud for everybody to hear.
If I could go one place in the world, where would I go?
If I could go one place in the world, where would I go? And now Julie is going to try and guess what my answer is going to be. I'm going to write my answer down here, and Julie is going to try and best friend, read my mind.
I
Okay.
hope you didn't change your answer, because I think I know.
You think I know? Okay.
No, I think I know.
You think you know? Oh. All right. Are you?
I'm good.
Have you written down? All right, this is a moment of truth. See if we can read each other's minds. All right, we're going to flip it around to the camera. In 3, 2, 1, boom. Australia, wherever you are.
Oh, come on.
Isn't that cute? Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, I guess I'll be in Australia. with
Okay,
you.
you'll be in Australia and I'll follow. All right. All right, go ahead and let's see, I'll pick one of yours. Is that kosher?
Sure.
Where's yours?
I don't know.
Oh.
Where do you put them?
Under the donuts.
Under the donuts. Okay.
Under the donuts. All right, here we go. Let's see here. What we got? We weren't very good, but I think we played this game last year in TYC, and we weren't very good then either. So
No.
well, we'll see if we can do better. All right. Julie's question is, what do I look forward to the most every autumn? What do I look forward to the most every autumn? There's like 10 things.
That's why it says most.
Can I put more answers?
No?
Okay. All right. All right, good. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom. Farm/pumpkin patch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, got it right. I was gonna say wearing sweatshirts, but
Well, that's good too, but...
okay. Farm pumpkin patch. All right.
the one-
All right. All right. Now, another one for you. Is this? Yep.
Better erase my answers here.
This is your. This is yours. And if you guys want to play along and guess in the chat what you think these are, and we'll go back and look and see how well you guys did too. So, all right. So my second question. Here we go.
What is my go-to snack?
What is my go-to snack? I've been snacking too much during quarantine. What is my go-to snack?
But
And
that changes every week.
Well, we're not going to say, yeah, so it's nothing like you would bake. Like any, so no like dessert kind of things, but like
Okay.
snack. Go-to snack. Wait, what is my go-to snack? This one should be fairly simple
Don't
for
say
her, but,
that.
oh.
Because I'm going to get it wrong, because you eat too many snacks.
Wow. I think she just called me fat, everybody. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, that's a good answer. That's a
What
good
did you
answer. I
put?
put popcorn.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good answer, though. Okay, I might accept that and give you a point, because that's really good. I have been eating a lot of Chex Mix recently. But I had my binge streak of Chex Mix, then I had to put them away for a while, so I've been on popcorn. So,
Like I said, he eats so many snacks that you never know which one he
I
likes
know,
that day.
it's okay. All right, one more for you. One more for you. All right, here we go. What was my first job? Is this a trick question?
No.
Okay, this is not a trick question. All right. I did tell her to throw me a softball, okay? So this is a softball. Hopefully this is not a trick question or I'm going to look stupid.
I should write a trick answer.
That'd be me of you.
Okay.
Why would you do that? 3, 2, 1, go. Lifeguard. She was lifeguard for how many years?
6.
6. All right, which I know some of you are lifeguards who, unfortunately, a lot of your pools might be closed for the summer. So hopefully you guys are able to jump in something new. But Julie was a lifeguard for 6 years. So if you have any questions about pools, she's the one to ask. Okay, she's got all the chemistry down. Okay, she's got it all figured out. All right, one more. Is this mine?
No, it's mine.
Oh, well, you got. I have one more.
Oh, sorry.
I have one more. Here.
What is my favorite sport to play?
What's my favorite sport to play? No, play is underlined, so
Yes.
like you got to be.
Oh no.
This is a hard one. I did not. Well, yeah. The places to go was a softball. I just kind of messed with my answer. But this one's hard. This one's hard.
Favorite one to play.
Favorite one to play. Favorite one to play. You have 3 seconds.
Oh no.
2, 1.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. I think you're gonna get this. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh no.
Hey,
Yay!
golf! I love soccer. All you soccer guys.
I know. I
I
was
coach
about
soccer
to
in the
write
fall. I love playing soccer, but for me, it's actually probably the one I have to work the hardest at. Golf, I can just go out and have fun and swing and do terrible and be outside with friends, and it doesn't matter. So, and soccer has been like competitive, very competitive for me. So there are ups and downs of playing soccer, and I just haven't played basketball very much because, well,
Because you haven't.
because I haven't. So, all right, last one for Julie. We're actually doing pretty well. Do I have 2 and you have 2?
Oh, I forgot to keep track.
Oh, you have to keep track? I forgot to. Oh, no.
What's the question?
What size shoe do I wear?
This is a hard one.
This is a hard one. Has it changed recently?
No.
No, it's never. Okay. So that means it's always been what it's always been. Have I ever bought you shoes?
I mean, technically, I use your money to buy stuff. But I don't think
These
you
are women's
have-
sizes, obviously, right?
Yeah, I don't wear dude shoes.
I know. I don't know anything about women's shoes. I'm sorry. All right. There should be shoes over here somewhere.
Hey, no
Wait.
cheating.
Oh, sorry. All right. I'm gonna do.
Just remember, my feet are smaller than yours, I think.
All right. I'm in between 2 numbers, so I'm gonna say half sizes in shoes, so that counts. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Boom.
7.5.
I went. Oh, I didn't know. So I originally had 8. And
Well, that's
again,
still wrong.
I don't know anything about women's shoes, so I don't know if like a 7 is like, what's small. Like I don't know.
A 7.5 is small.
Oh, okay. So like a 9th grader would wear 7.5.
Oh no, there's grown women that wear 7.5.
Oh, they're just
just much shorter than I
All right.
am tall.
Well, I think we tied. So
Sure.
good job. Thanks, Julie, for playing. Everybody, give a shout out to Julie in the chat for joining us, making a camera appearance. We got to get Ethan on it one of these times because up until about 10 minutes ago, he was still crying in his bed. So hopefully we'll be able to get him on to make a guest appearance and do something cute. Anyways. All right, guys. Just a reminder, if you didn't get a chance to in the chat, I think when we were having problems with our microphone before, that to enter into our food giveaway, I want to make sure everybody had a chance to get in. Type !CT eats in the chat. !CTEATS in the chat. If you already entered, don't do it again because it'll disqualify you. My little bot will disqualify you. It made it very clear that it didn't want you to do it twice. So make sure your !CT eats in the chat, and we'll give you like 30 seconds while I wrap up our evening tonight, and then we'll do a little randomizer and we'll announce to you who is going to win food when you would like it at some point this week. So just a reminder again, guys, about Ephesians series. That video, I'll be filming it tomorrow, and it'll be up on our website on YouTube channel Friday going into the weekend. So make sure you check out that in Ephesians chapter 4. A very interesting chapter, a practical chapter for us to think about. Also, next week is going to be different. There's not going to be YouTube. There's not going to be Zoom small groups, but there will be Zoom. Next Wednesday night, we are going to have a virtual family trivia night over Zoom. So make sure you brush up on your trivia with your family, get your competitive spirits going, because we're going to have a great time. Myself and Mr. Forrest are going to be running that and hosting it for you. So we will be having a trivia night over Zoom with all of our Calvary families. We hope that all of you at home watching can join us next Wednesday. I believe it's going to be 7 o'clock, but hold tight on that, and we'll let you know this upcoming week. Family Trivia Night. All right, do we have any more entries into our... We're getting more entries. Okay, this is exciting. My little bot has to come over here and calculate. So I'm just going to walk over to my bot, Batismo. And if you haven't said hi to Batismo in the chat, make sure you say hi. He's been helping me out tonight, making sure that we can get some of these entries in a little easier and a little more efficiently. So I'm going to just walk over to Batismo here and update him. Oh yeah, now we're going. Now we are going. Let's see. I gotta type in the thing. All right. Oh yeah, lots of. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. We're gonna stop the entries. We're gonna stop the entries. And I'm going to do my randomizer over here that's going to pick and click. All right, boom. And the winner for our food pack prize this week is Claire Tremba. Congratulations, Claire. On Instagram, in the chat, over email, text, something. Make sure you send me or Julie a message of food where you would have it delivered from. This is fast food. So a single meal from a fast food restaurant of something that we can deliver to you, and then let us know when you will want it. We can have that delivered for you. We'll have our good friends over at the door fast place, the fast door place. Make sure you drop that off to your house. So make sure, Claire, congratulations that you let us know that at some point, and we will get that to you. And who was our last winner? Brock can attest in the chat. He got his meal. He ended up at some Papa John's pizza. So again, we will get that to you, Claire, but make sure you let us know what it is all that you want, and we will get that to you as soon as you want it. All right, guys, again, thank you for joining us, sticking around with us tonight. We made it through mostly unscathed. My computer decided to, in the 5-minute countdown, do the blue screen of death, which if you know anything about the blue screen of death, I was not happy. But we got it back. God's good. He's faithful. We're so excited to be able to connect with you all. Again, reminder about virtual family night next Wednesday, possibly at 7 o'clock. We'll confirm the time with you early next week. Hope all of you have a great weekend, and we will see you in our Ephesians study on Sunday.